decider. Tonight, you're about to witness a driver have the greatest day of their career. For Oscar Piastri, this is the chance to be his nation's third world champion. For Max, 58 laps await us at round 24 of the championship. It is decider day with 3 drivers. Carlos Sainz on the podium at the last Grand Prix, Oliver Bearman in 11th place. And then it's Yuki Tsunoda. What part could he play today?
The sun is still pretty bright. We've got another half an hour before they'll be racing under the lights, but so much depends on this launch to the first corner.
Jolien, what are you looking out for in the early stages?
I just don't think this is going to be a normal race.
Welcome to the 32nd title decider in Formula One history. It is a 3-way fight for the crown. We're on to the formation lap. Max Verstappen has been
yesterday that's what they might do. They've got 2 cars at the front and they would use them both. But Oscar there is trying to mirror Yuki and have another chance to get ahead of Max Verstappen. And did you see he was ahead of Lando Norris out of turn 1 on the formation lap as well?
We see Max Verstappen using his experience, bringing the field round reasonably slowly. He doesn't want to be sitting on the grid for too long. He is in that pole position spot right now.
The temperature is 31 degrees. The track temperature is 31 degrees, the air temperature is 26. Everyone's standing in the grandstand in front of us. It all comes down to this. In the toe as we make our way down to the first really big opportunity for overtaking on this opening lap. And it's side by side between the 2 McLarens. Lando Norris has the inside line.
If he gets ahead of Verstappen, this could be his.
He sat in the press conference on Thursday and looked at the floor when he was asked about team orders. He is still fighting for his own champion
later in this Grand Prix, but he's putting himself under pressure.
He is in 13th place as Lando Norris tucks in. He's not miles away, Charles Leclerc, from the driver who needs that 3rd place to win the title.
Yeah, it does feel like George
Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, George Russell, Gabriel Bortoleto, Isaac Hadjar, Esteban Ocon and Yuki Tsunoda. Lewis Hamilton is looking to try and claim a 4th position.
Yeah, he'll be hoping that Lando drops back from the back of Piastri. He'll be getting a distant slipstream. We saw the power of that in qualifying with Yuki Tsunoda giving Max Verstappen.
Breaks away.
Back to the start of the Grand Prix. Lando Norris at this point in 2nd place.
Russell went nowhere, did he? Off the line, started slaloming to try and block Fernando.
Yeah, well spotted. And at the front, Max realised that his initial launch wasn't that good. So
it's on board with George Russell, who lost a couple of places off the line.
Yeah, just bogged down there initially, and you could hear the rear axle tramping. So that felt like it was maybe a bit of clutch deployment. It was almost like there wasn't enough RPM on it.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like initially, the bog, but then on a hard time knowing he goes long, as we see Charles Leclerc peel a tear off, staring at the back of Lando and closing in once again.
Yeah, and this is the danger zone. If he can get off.
Yeah, Charles Leclerc last year finished 3rd from 19th on the grid. He's never won around here, and neither have Ferrari, but he's finished on the podium here in the last 3 seasons.
So, message to Lando Norris. They've asked Oscar and Max, GP, Red Bull, will be looking at this and quite enjoying what they're seeing.
Well, this will be telling to see whether the McLaren can suddenly light it up and build a gap to the Ferrari of the Grand Prix for Lando Norris, who did respond immediately to the hurry-up from the team. So, McLaren running pace to try and manage the rubber, and then as soon as they needs something to happen to Lando Norris to ensure that he's not on the podium, he's going to win the title tonight.
I thought he might be backing up the field a lot more at this stage, especially when you see how hungry Leclerc is for the move on Norris. Max is kind of allowing McLaren to pick the...
McLaren believe that has begun the Pirellis of Max Verstappen.
So if Tsunoda is going to be any use, Red Bull need to keep him within the pit stop window of the McLarens. That's 21 seconds around here for a pit stop. So at the moment he is well within that, 14 seconds.
And the final corners in Sao Paulo and all that. 2008, Lewis Hamilton, the last time a McLaren driver won the Formula One World Championship.
So here's a question, Jolien. It's been so long since I won a championship, I can't remember, but I wonder if Lando at any point...
46, that deal announced in the week before the start of the Grand Prix. Yuki Tsunoda giving Max Verstappen a tow at this corner yesterday in qualifying, but not on the second run where Verstappen was able to improve again. Left-hand side of your picture, Charles Leclerc trying to chase down the McLaren.
And it's all happening a bit late here, isn't it, when his DRS comes into effect. It's just isn't enough braking into that corner. Normally you wouldn't see overtakes there unless you're Oscar Piastri.
To pick it up and go again, so that'll be a sort of 1 second reprieve for McLaren. Russell was a few seconds back from Leclerc, so do Ferrari now cover off Russell, and do McLaren cover off Leclerc, and we're out but don't receive Norris, and Leclerc stays out as well, so neither of them reacting to Russell.
Yeah, you can do that a couple of times, and teams do the bluff, as you say, but you can't systematically.
Pressure, so he should be covering off Russell. There goes Antonelli, and Russell is still behind.
Yeah, that's Antonelli in the Mercedes, not George Russell in the Mercedes. And Lando Norris and McLaren clearing another hurdle in this Grand Prix.
Do you think we can do Plan A? Thoughts on Plan A?
He was 26 seconds behind the race-leading Max Verstappen at the start, and now it's in the middle of the traffic for Lando.
First not moving under braking, I don't know what it is. Literally as I brake to move.
In turns 13 and 14.
So I have to say, I think this has worked out pretty well for Norris at the moment. Two of the big rivals who might have got ahead have been covered off in the first round of pit stops. They've pitted early enough that you wonder if the hard will go.
He's finding them. Track position for Lando Norris, and another exam question answered in his quest to be the Formula One world champion.
Lawson will get DRS to potentially have a go back. For fireworks when you see that coming ahead of you, but they all came through cleanly just about. Leclerc's now on the back of Stroll for another should be easy move. They both have DRS.
Yep, down the back straight there.
Got to make sure he covers him off, and when they get to their pit stop, Max is just hanging on, doing a good job on his medium tyres. The graining's not got the better of him just yet. Needs to make sure that that Oscar's not in a position to undercut. Starting on the hard tyres, it's unlikely he's going to switch.
I don't think Yuki's going to have much defence.
I know what to do, so leave to me is the response for Yuki Tsunoda. Lando Norris will know.
Well,
this is the circuit where Yuki Tsunoda has scored his best ever result in Formula One. 2021, he was 4th and a couple of tenths of a second away from a Formula One podium. Said he rued the fact he didn't get a full. Decisive move to the inside. Tsunoda thinks about the lunge, but there's nothing he can do. And for all the talk of tactics, first chance for Lando Norris offered up, first chance taken, and he's back in P3, which he needs to become the champion. Yeah, is that you've got Charles Leclerc in between. He's cleared Yuki Tsunoda as well now, so that would be a time penalty if race control don't like what they've seen.
Surely they can't.
Only noted, not under investigation. We'll let you know if it changes.
To back Lando up into the drivers behind, and they won't even need to overtake him.
So this is the complicating factor. If there was any transgression judged by race control and the stewards, Charles Leclerc has got past Yuki Tsunoda. Investigation means it goes to the stewards. It is sent to the stewards, 4 of them. The driver steward is Derek White. On lap 26 of 58. It's in the balance for the World Championship. Lando Norris made his way through the pack, had crucial moves. What we're going to get, the verdict could come at any moment, and it could change the outcome of the World Championship.
I don't recall ever seeing that type of scenario happen on a straight. Yes, it's happened on it.
This is further back. Kimi Antonelli, Fernando Alonso, battle for 9th position, now in possession of the Aston Martin driver.
And ahead of Alonso. Oh, we almost had the same thing there with Alonso. I think he probably...
We're looking from the main screen to the race control screen over and over again. We'll bring you the news when they reach their verdict in the stewards' room.
It keeps popping up with lap times being deleted at the moment as various drivers just sneak over at turn 1. News on the radio recently. Let's see if Russell can clear Tsunoda this time around then.
It's a 5-second penalty for Yuki Tsunoda for more than one change of direction. Does that mitigate things for Lando Norris, or did he leave the track?
The racetrack, but I do agree with Jolyon. I don't think there was anything that was considered dangerous in the inevitable trying to break the slipstream from Yuki. I'd like to see it again to be able to count how many moves he made.
And we often see it. He did make a few.
Second penalty. Lando Norris might not even know about the investigation. You might hear about that later on. He is 4.8 seconds away. He doesn't have the easiest margin to Charles Leclerc, but he does have a margin to Charles Leclerc. Black and white flag for Lewis Hamilton is his drive for next year, and he's been given a 5-second penalty for changing direction. Norris got by. You can see, there is Lando Norris. He can see Max Verstappen up the road. Here's Lewis Hamilton in once again for his second stop in the Grand Prix.
Well, that gives us an indication as to how far he felt those...
Time. Piastri, if he were to pit now, will come up behind Leclerc. McLaren have given up Piastri's track position, obviously to Norris, but also to Leclerc in this. But Russell's just not going quickly.
More than likely going to finish... Well, he could get to the podium, but he's going to have to get past Leclerc to make it happen. So it feels that they're just going to try and run this as late as they can and hope that something happens.
McLaren got a lot of stick for talking about flexibility in Qatar.
Well, you heard the message from GP to his driver, Max Verstappen, who's still in contention as we make our way into the final stages of the season. Grand Prix with the last power unit made by Renault, running in 14th and 5th.
We'll see something before the end, but right now they just don't have a choice.
What I was surprised at is that GP, the engineer for Verstappen, highlighting that he quit Piastri on a medium later in the race. It would have to be an incredibly quick Piastri to make up the time difference, isn't it? It's hoping for that Latifi-type moment at the right moment on the racetrack for him to peel in and pick up his fresh tyres.
A safety car will work really well for Piastri. He'll have a quick...
When the rear tyres finally give up, but at this stage, he should take it as long as he possibly can.
And remember, learning to see how far that hard tyre can go as well, so he's got the chance to benefit from a safety car.
They were going to wrap it up before the end. 14 times this season, McLaren have won Grand Prix, 7 with Oscar, 7 with Lando. That is the state of play with the tyre strategy. Piastri yet.
It is paying off very well for them.
Just doesn't feel, though, that there's enough of an offset in tyres to make up the gap of an extra pit stop. You know, Verstappen running quick, running consistent, on board with Lewis Hamilton, like Russell's able to do anything in this Grand Prix. So Leclerc will, based on everything we've seen, get on the back of Russell and pass him fairly quickly.
I think the sensible move for Norris is to pit and take a fresh set of tyres to have no problems going to...
For the lead of the Grand Prix. Long stint for Oscar Piastri, yet to stop. Max Verstappen diving to the inside, taking the lead on track. These two drivers who have won 7 Grand Prix this year, everyone's still running. All 20 cars haven't finished the Grand Prix since Singapore. No incident came, and he manages to go and complete his 6th, and Charles Leclerc retakes 4th position in the final Grand Prix of the year.
Yeah, the problem for Red Bull is Leclerc is doing an okay job at keeping the McLarens honest, as does the fastest lap of the race, a second quicker than Verstappen out front. So Piastri can probably have that pace in a McLaren plus another couple of tenths maybe. I don't think it's going to be quite enough.
A week ago.
He's going to need to be 1.5 seconds quicker than you every lap. I'll keep you posted.
So the Red Bull strategy seems to be simply beat Oscar, pitting Yuki early, but he was starting on the hard tyre, so they gave that up on the grid. He needed to be on the soft to try and do a Lewis Hamilton level of strategy, get in amongst it and have a pit stop in hand.
For the Australian driver, took his first Grand Prix pole position this year and instantly transformed into a championship contender. At one point had a lead of 34 points after the Dutch Grand Prix, but it's after that Dutch Grand Prix that things began to surge in the lead if it all went to plan.
It's a risk for winning the race, but it will give him a chance to play games in the final 10 laps. If he doesn't do that, he can't really play the games.
No, I don't feel...
Win the championship?
They've turned it down. They turned it down at the start. They've turned it down now. If Max Verstappen stopped right now, he would come out behind Oscar Piastri.
So they have lost that chance to control the race, and
he's trying to figure out, well, look, if Charles is in play, then maybe that is a strategy. But if he isn't, then I think the victory will round off. And it's not just about Max and the World Championship. It's about all of the men and women that work building this.
Tyres for Antonelli and a Mercedes to try and pull off that move on Hadjar. They're going to have plenty more of those battles, aren't they, in their career? And probably next year when Hadjar joins Verstappen at Red Bull and Antonelli has a second season to put to use what he's learnt this, please get me to the end of this race.
He won the opening Grand Prix of the year in Melbourne. It was a tussle with Max Verstappen, and then Piastri just rattled off 4 of the next 5 on the end of the campaign. Let's take you through the order as well. Further down, Carlos Sainz finds himself on slightly fresher tyres compared to Gabriel Bortoleto, 1.2 seconds between the Williams and the Sauber. Bortoleto trying to...
Norris could pit, lose to Leclerc, which would be crucial, but have fresh tyres to attack. Don't need long memories to realise the last time there was a dramatic late safety car in a title this up. Tens of millions of pounds of prize money, all to be decided in these last few laps as well.
It's going all the way to the end.
Like that, and Hamilton fighting the Ferrari like that, you realise how this still could change at the front, even though the positions look locked in a normal race. The DRS lends itself to pass and repass at this circuit.
Lando Norris was the pre-season favourite, making his way to turn number 5. So many supporting him in the crowd. Carlos Sainz, his old teammate. We told you about this battle before.
It's been really disappointing, and I wonder if he's been nursing an issue since the early stages.
4 laps to go in the World Championship of 2025. Lance Stroll late on the brakes, up again behind the wheel when you got Crane in.
You just simply, if it's the front tyres, which it was for most of the drivers around here, you just simply start understeering. You wash wide, and you feel that you're...
Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari, then it's Russell, then it's Alonso. Lewis Hamilton is still very close to Esteban Ocon, but we are moments away from the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix.
Is to wait whilst Norris, Leclerc and Russell all pitted into traffic. Max didn't have that issue, kept Oscar at bay, and I think this is one of those races, right? I think he's had the fastest car and they've controlled the race, but they've just not been able to put the pressure on McLaren.
Well, there was a name in Formula One. He came roaring back, but the comeback of all comebacks will fall short. Max Verstappen wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, but this will be for Lando. Joy unconfined for McLaren. Lando Norris is the 35th champion of the world.